Hello and welcome to what is going to be yet another new series on my channel. So, what am I going to be doing with this series? Building a prison. So these are the mods that I'm going to be playing with on every series I do on this game. I'm going to be using the pardon letter, which allows you to give your death row inmates a second chance if you think they deserve it. Right. Once you've researched death row, you may place a pardon letter which pardons a death row inmate to maximum security. I will be using workshop labourers, which adds a new staff member, the labourer, who will work all day and all night in your workshops for low wages. The better clock mode adds 2 new buttons to the clock in game. The buttons let you speed up the game even faster, times 7 or times 10 the game speed. Security coloured carpets and walls. What this mod does is basically add extra carpet walls colored to the security sections, so the base game colours. So for example, yellow would be protective custody, blue would be minimum security, orange would be medium, red maximum, yes, and then dark red would be supermax, black being death row. And of course then we also have the padded base game flooring for the cycle. I have removed staff meal stacker storage due to it being an outdated mod. But we will be having the compact metal detectors, which basically, instead of having to put metal detectors next to your doors, you can put them inside your doorways. Dog handlers for tasers. Basically, this mod provides dog handlers for tasers. Newly recruited dog handlers have a taser automatically upon hiring. Dog handlers hired before activating this mod need to go to the army to obtain one. Cleaning edited objects. Basically, the dirt off the tables, the cooker, the sink, and all of that following objects looks a lot cleaner. Disabling custom prisoners. I'm doing this because there are some very weird custom prisoners out there. Quality materials mod is basically just fixing a few issues where the walls don't line up, the fences don't have barbed wires for the dirt ones, but they do have them for the grass ones, and then the connection of the barred fencing. I'm not sure exactly what wall that is, but the connection of it is better, as you can see in the image here. Okay, so let's go into create a new prison. So these are my preferences I always play with. This is what we're going to play with. I will go through them right now to let you know. Each series will be the same setting, so I won't go through this every start of every series. So we will be starting in a small world size with $100,000 starting funds on default plot. With high weather intensity in spring. We will not be having gangs, we may enable them in the future. We will not be having dynamic reputations. Again, I might do a challenge series in the future where I have every set on hand. We will not be playing with fog wall because that's not good for videos. We will be playing with failure conditions and generate forests. We will not be generating lakes or buildings or playing in water mode. We will be playing with events but not temperatures. We will also be playing with staff needs, but I will not be enabling the escape plans, unlimited funds, bureaucracy research, or naval tools sheets. We're going to be going with the desert uniforms because I think they look better than the standard uniforms. I'm going to go with Dylan Cook as the warden because he offers discounts on food and programs. That is programs that require external teachers. And because I can never decide on which lovely companion guard dog to have, I choose all dogs. The mutators that I have enabled are more contraband, which allows more contraband to be smuggled into prison, and prisoners are far more likely to steal contraband when given the opportunity. All reputations failed, prisoners getting off the bus will always have the reputations visible. Fast walking, everyone in your prison walks twice as fast. Normal room size requirements, but you still need to get the required items for the room to work. that is no room size. And then wild growth, which allows trees to spread and will grow much faster than normal, which is why I have giant forests on, because it will allow us to use that as a way to make money. My DLC settings are as follows. I do have prisoner agent on. I do have weather and intensity on high. I am actually going to disable that infestation. Island bound is all the default settings. I am enabling criminally safe inmates and prisoner transfers. Let's get into the prison. Okay, so we start out with a very decent amount of trees, which is nice. Let's get these guys off the bus. As you can see, the clock is going a lot faster now. And how I like to start out my let's plays on here is turn off medium security, close the income, delete these letters because I've read them a million times, and then click on the money to get the grants for basic detention center and administration center. I then like to go up to the top area here and plan out a reception, which I am going to do a 10 by 10 for this series with a 2 doorway there. I'm going to have a 2 wide corridor going there with a 2 wide doorway there, because we're going to go down by 30 and put a wall in there, and that is going to be our deliveries, garbage and exports rooms. The first room is going to be a 10, so we'll have a wall going across there. That's going to be deliveries, which they're going to have to go in there for, because prisoners do get dropped off in the deliveries area. Why am I talking like a radio announcer? I do not know. And then I am going to go for 9 by 8 rooms for the garbage and exports, with the doorways in the center to the main road. I'm also going to go ahead and get a 5 wide room that goes all the way up in line with the reception and a doorway there for the storage, because the storage racks will fit in just like so. From the reception area, I'm going to have a doorway coming here, which is going to have a corridor that comes all the way down here for the staff. I'm going to have a corridor that goes across the top to the visitation center, and then of course the corridor to the main prison. Coming into the main prison section of the actual planning, I'm going to go for a 3 wide, 2 gap, 3 wide, down by 7, which leaves us with a 6 by 8 room for the holding cell. I'm going to have a 3 wide room for the showers. I'm then going to create a decent sized kitchen here, which is 7 down, so the door's in the center, and it's 7 by 8, so it's just a little bit bigger than the holding cell. In this area then, I'm going to have a 12 wide canteen with a double door. Continuing down here then, I am going to make this into a yard space, and eventually this will take us down to the rest of the prison, which will not be holding cell area. But for now we're going to cap that off there. The staff corridor is going to come down here and around, and I'm going to start making offices here. So I tend to go for a 3 by 3 room, because that is all they really need as the staff offices, and also it saves a lot of space early game. Now because I have staff needs on, I do need a kitchen, canteen and a staff room, which I'm going to fit all of them into this space for the time being. Eventually this will become just a staff room once we end up having no staff. But now I am just going to split this pretty nicely down the center there, so this is going to be a 10 by 10 room and a 9 by 10 room. This is because the staff room doesn't need to be as big as the canteen, and we already have a kitchen here that can supply the staff canteen, as well as the holding cell canteen. So let's get building. What I'm going to do is get the reclaimed wood wall, turn off auto lights. I'm going to get foundation built in up to there, because again this area here is going to be the yard, it's going to be outdoors. And then I'm going to get the foundation built for the rest of the building. I'm then going to go into walls and doors, get the walls, reclaimed wood wall around the yard area. I'm also going to get those trees dismantled so we can place in the wall there. And I'm going to get a visitor door for the reception area, a staff door for those areas, and a double visitor door to go there. I'm also going to put in singular staff doors there before I lose the position of them, ready for the exports and garbage areas. So let's get them building. I am going to hire a few more members of staff, just so that we can get this built faster, and I will see you once they've built this building. Okay, so you're now done building everything. So we're going to remove these rooms and place them in where we want them. So deliveries are going to go there. Then we're going to get the exports room for right there, the garbage right there, and storage just here. Now before I do anything else, I am going to get the storage shelves. And just line them up the wall there. We won't need more than that for now. So while they get all that in, we are going to pass the time. And there we go. Now I'm going to get all the walls built in that we put the planning in for. Auto save lag right there. And you can do this trick, even with the doorways, just to get the walls built faster. As long as you have the doors there. So there's going to be the staff room, the staff canteen, and all the offices. I will answer that in just a second. Just some logistics area, we are receiving extra supplies. Awesome. While we are passing time for them to do the walls, I'm going to get the doors in, so we're going to have a staff door there, a double staff door there, a double visitor door just there, and a large shield door. We'll have one there as well, just so that's like an airlock. If they break through that one, we can do lockdown before they get to that one, if they're trying to escape. Because that is a very quick way to get out. I'm also going to do a large steel door there and there. I'm going to do a standard door for the showers, because if a guard comes to let them out and goes back to reception, then they have to come back to let them in. And for the yard, I am going to do a large steel door at either end. Going down to staff area again, it's all going to be staff doors, just for security reasons. I've just noticed I missed one of the walls, which we will now get them to build. We do also need to set up power and water, but that is not an immediate need right now, as we don't have prisoners. What I am going to do to start off with though is get the first office set up, the first 2 offices for the administration center. Then we'll use that $5,000 to help us do the basic detention center. So I like to use the dark wood flooring for the offices, and then I am going to get Let's search for office. I'm going to get a filing cabinet at the top. I'm going to get an office desk then just next to it. And the swivel chair, because that's more realistic. They can swivel their way out from the desk and go around and get out. I am actually going to add water coolers due to the fact of heat waves with the weather. I am going to go ahead and hire the warden and zone these as offices. And now we need to research finance. I'm also going to research maintenance as well, because I want to get the workshop on the go as soon as possible with forestry. And to do that we need prison labour and groundskeeping. And then if I just simply go into quick build and clone those offices to go there and there, and just like magic, and a couple $1,000s later they are built. So I'm going to start on the basic detention center here. So we're going to go for a holding cell here. That is going to be the shower. That is the canteen and kitchen and the yard. The objects we're going to need is the serving tables, which I'm actually going to go for these small serving tables. Go just there with a recycling bin and a standard bin just there. And I like to go for the diner booths as well, just because I think they look nice. I'm okay with putting that there on the edge of the wall because the bin is there as well. So we can hold 40 prisoners in that canteen, which is pretty good. The shower just simply needs shower heads and a drain so it doesn't flood out of the showers. I'm actually going to put drains all the way down the center. The kitchen, I'm going to get some hookers on the edges, and in the center I'm just going to put a couple of fridges, and then the sinks are going to go in the corners like so. The holding cell, I am going to have bunk beds down both sides. I'm going to have 2 toilets just there, and then I'm going to have some small benches just there with some bookshelves at the end. Benches. Once I get all that built in, we will hire 2 guards and 2 cooks, and then we will make that money. In fact, I'm going to get the accountant first. And we get 2 guards, 2 cooks. Once I build everything, then the grant will be complete. And there we go. That is the grant complete. Building the basic detention center, we only lost $2,000 because we were at 48,000 and now we're at 46. So we are not doing too bad. What I am going to do though is keep an eye on when maintenance is going to be done, which is in 2 hours time. And in the meantime, they are still building the basic detention center, which is now finished. And it's going to be very soon. There you go. That sound indicated that it was researched. I will get a foreman to go in there and then research we will get groundskeeping, prison labour, and tax relief. We'll also get micromanagement. We'll also get micromanagement and prison policy, just to help us along the way, as well as the extra grant. Okay, so in the meantime, I am going to also research security because we need deployment. I've just remembered to actually get the staff canteen zoned as a staff canteen. We need to zone it as staff only, which we need deployment for, which we need security for. It's a long process. But what I'm going to get the workers to do is a bunch of flooring. So in these areas, it's going to be reclaimed brick. In the corridors, it's going to be some laminate flooring, which is fire resistant. So if fire breaks out in the kitchen, it will not spread to the staff area because of this flooring. But there is a chance of it doing it through the walls, but not through the floors. In the kitchen, I'm going to get checkered flooring. In the canteen, it's going to be fancy tiles. The showers, it's going to be white tiles. The holding cell, I'm going to do red carpet. I don't want to do I'll do brown carpet. The holding cell. Again, laminate flooring for the passageways, the corridors, rather, included across there. I'm actually out of money. I am going to get the prison maintenance and staff well-being initiative grants. And then laminate flooring to go along here. Final bit of flooring we're going to do for now is the darker flooring there. And here, as well as fancy tiles here. Now we are pretty much out of money, which is okay, but not great. Our cash flow is also negative, so I am going to go into finance and do pay cut to the maximum. They will be unhappy about it. When I raise it 50%, they will be happy. Which is why I cut their pay by the maximum amount to 90%, because then I can still keep their pay cuts at 40%. And there they go complaining. If I go back into it, raise their pay by 50%, they will be happy. I am still in the green. If I research cleaning as well, when I get the money, and then hire two janitors and a gardener, then that will be great. I will get that grant complete. To get the money for cleaning research, I'm going to dismantle these trees, which will put them in the Xbox area, selling the logs. It has spread out another tree, which is not going to get dismantled, so that group of trees is not going to be gone forever. There's also one there. This group of trees, however, is going to be removed soon when we go to do cell block A, because cell block A is going to go just here. And cell block A will also use the holding cells canteen. I now have the money due to a $3,000 export. I can now go ahead and research cleaning, and I can start building the staff room for the other grant. I won't be able to build it all, but I will be able to build it enough to where I can get the grant to then finish it off. We're going to click stay indoors because that is yet another grant to click that 3 times. I'm also then going to get a drinks machine just there, and that will complete the staff room and give us $10,000. after we hire some more guards, which is what I am going to do with the money from the leftover exports. All we need to do now is hire one more guard, hire 2 janitors, and hire a gardener. To do this, I am going to again dismantle trees. They are unhappy again, they are on strike. That is not great because now we have a bunch of protest fires coming in. And we are going to raise their pay, dismiss the vehicles, and then sell protest fires that are coming in. We'll dump them if we cannot sell them. Dismiss you as well. I'm actually going to just sell that. And then they are going to be happy with their pay. I'm going to cut it back down by 10%, which will keep it at the standard rate. They are currently chopping down all the trees. And instead of waiting for the truck, I can just sell like so. And then go into staff, get one more guard, get a gardener and 2 janitors. And I will get another guard as well because one of them had a duty apparently. And that is the 2 grants complete. Now if we go into here, we can then go ahead and get the emergency protocols grant and the inmate health and well-being, which for that we will need health and psychology. I am now going to go ahead and set up a workshop area with a forestry out the back. Eventually we'll be moved over here with a massive forestry and a massive workshop, which is why we will need to make this the staff canteen or the staff room, and then add another room here for the staff. So planning, we are going to have this as a basic workshop with workshop benches either side, and a little passageway in the middle with some tables in the center maybe. Okay, so out here we're going to make a forestry area. And now I am just going to do a 30 by 30 area just there. Again, while growth goes on, so it will spread out around the forestry area as well. That is going to be fine. I am going to hire a couple of more gardeners as well because they plant the trees. And I'm going to get reclaimed wood wall foundations there with staff doors either side, as previously mentioned. Now, trees are expensive, but once they start their wild growth, we won't have to buy any, and they'll basically be free money coming out of there. We'll just have to wait for the trees to grow and be chopped down and turned into product. So we're going to go ahead and assign this room as the workshop. I am going to spend some money making it an iron floor, which is actually fairly cheap. Only $1,500 to do that. And then we are going to get some workshop saws. Just there. Some workshop presses just here. And carpenter tables go in just here. Now obviously we do need power for this room now, but that is going to be fine. Because this forestry, they're going to keep chopping down the wood and selling the wood as well. So we can now go ahead and dismantle these trees and get money from those logs as well. we can possibly sell what is in this crate, a road barrier. I am going to sell that once it's actually where it's going to read up. It's just there. I am going to sell that for now because I'm not doing anything over this side just yet. And that has allowed me to get some more money to get another carpenter table just there to make it symmetrical. Couldn't think of the word. And then also allow me to make a small utilities room just here. Build that up, get the door put in as a staff door just there. In fact, I'm actually going to make it a double staff door and have it there because I'm going to have the water pump station there, the power station with the capacitors there. I do tend to go for green energy, but the easiest way to start out is with the power station, as it just makes life a whole lot easier. So now I am going to get the power station with the capacitor max pluses around it. They are double the price, but they also do double the efficiency. The water pump station is going to go there. Electrical cables, we are given 20 to start off with, so that's what I'm going to use to hook up the starter items to the power station. We are going to have to start paying for them now as we come down here, but it will work out okay once we sell those. Put in a power cable there and there, and that works out quite nicely. That is already overloaded, so we do need to get capacitors just there, and once they are put in, I can then switch it on like so. So instead of adding 1 bar each, they add 2 bars each. I'm also going to look for the capacitor there, sell that one, and then I'm going to simply just wait for everything to be put in. I am going to put a light in just there, and it'll be there, just so that we can see what is happening in the workshop. Same time, I'm going to put lights in the offices that are actually being actively used. That one's going to be used for the psychologist, which I'm going to hire in there now. And of course, we do need to put the electrical cables going up just to hook up those offices. But it will be nice to see what is going on in those rooms. The medical ward I am going to build just here. But for now, I am going to get the reclaimed brick and put the flooring in there. As you can probably tell, I like to have flooring in my rooms ready to go. We don't have tables in here yet. I'm about to get them in. So I'm going to go for a large table there, and then 2 small tables just there. You can see the difference between the dirt on here and then no dirt on here. That is the clean edit objects, which the mod was made before the small tables were added, I believe. And now we can go ahead and hire what would we need. I'm gonna hire 15 laborers to start off with, because they run every machine here, same as the prisoners. I'm gonna get 3 more of them, and then we'll call it a day there. we have a heat wave, so I'm going to click stay indoors again, which means we're not going to get any money coming in. And also with the heat wave, trees can catch fire, so we've got to be careful of that. It's an extreme heat wave now, which is why I've got the water coolers in the offices. These guys are going to get overheated. See, it says that he's pissed off. That's because he's in need of bladder, bowels, food, recreation, comfort, and hydration. That's due to the fact that the staff canteen is not set up. The staff room is not set up properly yet. That will all be done soon. The only thing that affects is whether they want to strike or not, and how much pay you have to pay them. Obviously, the more money you give them, the happier they will be anyways. So if you can afford to, it's better to up the budget than solve the issues. That was a joke, if you couldn't tell. But now they are making superior beds, which are going to be sold, and I believe they actually get sold for $500, which is what the comfy bed costs, which is what the model is based off of. So it's just a minor heat wave, so I'm going to get them to just not stay indoors, and then we can get some things exported. They were 680, so they actually worth more than the comfy bed. They probably have the soft pillows attached to them as well. Also, the road is back to normal. Everything is back to normal. We've activated the stay indoors order during calamity 2 out of 3 times to protect your staff and prisoners from dangerous weather. And as you can see, because they planted them going from right to left, they're now chopping them down from right to left. As you can see, they are getting quite close to each other, meaning that the wild growth is working and saving us money on trees. Once I get, I'm actually going to go for 25 labourers. You know, we need 3, 6, 9, 12. We only need 14, but if we go for 25 while they're on break, there's still the capacity to do the max amount of work that they can do here. He's going on break, someone else is going to come and cover his shift, there you go. But that is going to be it for today, guys. In the next episode, we are going to work on putting power to the rest of the prison, sorting out the water for the main basic detention center, and also doing the furniture, for the staff room and the staff canteen. In the meantime, I am going to get deployment and hire a chief as I end this video, just so that it's ready to go at the start of the next episode, which will be coming out probably in a few days. I am trying to do multiple different series, so there's not going to be a set schedule. I did mention in my Let's Talk update video that I done back at the start of October that I am going to try and upload at least 2 to 3 times a week. Right now I'm going to try and upload daily, but if I don't upload daily, don't hassle me about it. Do apologize if I don't, but it's because I've had other things going on. So thank you guys for watching. I will see you all next time. Peace out, everybody.